The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, before we begin, I have a poll related to the next Deku story that I'm going to be writing on the community page. I will post it here. Thank you.
What's up, Deadites? Last time we ended with Deku taking up his position as a UA supports class teacher. Some of you may be wondering, what about Power Loader? Well, don't worry. I didn't get rid of him. In this instance, our boy Deku runs the support department in its entirety while dude still teaches. He plans to take over every now and again, but gotta remember what his real day job is. A good chunk of the staff at UA is in the know about the other side of his life. Our boy is on campus for 2 out of 5, 3 possibly days. That might sound off for you people that know at least some instances of the Japanese system pretty well, but you know, liberty of using this system, I know. And I mean, a 5-day school week, I don't think that's rare in Japan, but let's just go with what I know. Apologies. But once again, I digress. Izuku had been thinking hard about how he wanted to tackle this class to make it a little different and also help some of these sharp minds get jobs out of school. That's when a thought hit. Hey, Tony, why don't I treat the students like I treat my employees? Give them a bit of a budget, then analyze their performance compared to how much of said budget they use. I think I might even throw an internship at Oscorp to sweeten the deal. Pretty gross Deku's hand. Love, that seems like a great idea. Give these students a taste of the real world and see what benefits can be gained from hard work or deficits from coming up short. But I guess you'll have at least one student that's going to know how to handle herself. And Izuku, I don't mind you spending time with me. Just, please, don't forget about me. With that statement, Tony had just given Deku the go-ahead for trying to rekindle some manner of relationship with May. The woman is nothing if not confident that our boy will come back to her at the end of the day. I'll give you a little dip into her thought. The way she sees it, if Deku can only manage to get friend status back with May, cool. But if he managed to rekindle the fire they had, that's also fine. As far as she's concerned, Tony is Izuku's rock at this point, and nothing will change that. As far as the whole May thing is concerned, she's just another mooring point for him. Izuku has been seen some things as Spider-Man, and honestly, that has Tony worried for a while, and he seems to be doing fine with it, which once again has her very concerned. Superhero life is filled with both wonder and horror, and Izuku is taking it in stride. In fact, maybe she'd have a talk with him about that. Hey, Izuku. Tony called out before her boyfriend was out of reach. Izuku went back to sit down with her on the couch and stared directly at her as if saying, "Go on." Tony built up the nerves to ask her question. If you've seen some awful things since you've been in Spider Man, and your lack of breakdowns has me worried. When Roberta and I first took up the armor, we had issues. You know what we had to do to Abdiah. And all that war torn countries we tried to save before we decided to just do what we could. How are you holding up so well despite all you've seen? Please don't say you're a fearless leader or some such snarky line. I love your snarkiness, but please, not now. I need a serious answer. Tony was crying for him, and Izuku could tell. Izuku took a deep breath and let it out. First, I'm not belittling your struggle you and Roberta had to go through. Remember, I helped you in some of that, and am just as guilty in Obadiah's death. But to answer your question, remember after Kotsky's dad got messed up at the gas station, I reached out to a colleague I trust to be in my head, so to speak, Dr. Leonard Sampson. I see him on a semi-regular basis. It's nice to have someone like him who understands the decisions I have to make. Before you ask, I sought him out after my dad saw something in me that I didn't. He mentioned that I was going on a path that could put me on his list, and quite frankly, I didn't want that. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about looking for a therapist for the Avengers as a whole. We're global heroes, and as such, we are subject to some disturbing things. Tony, the Avengers aren't just a team to me. They're family. And at the moment, I'm at the head of that family. That position means I'm gonna have to make calls that people just won't like me for. And I'm okay with that. But I don't want to see any of you hurting alone. I promise you, if I ever hit the point where I'm close to a breakdown, you'll be one of the first people I'll seek out. I love you, Antoinette Stark. Now and always. Izuku kisses Tony on the cheek, and her tears of worry and sadness become tears of happiness. Natasha was heading to the common area until she saw the two having a moment and quietly retreated, warning the other Avengers to give the couple some space. The two go on a date, ending in a picnic on top of Tokyo Tower. Nobody's dumb enough to try to tell these two to vacate. One is an international hero, and they both are among the world's greatest minds and richest of their respective genders. Fun fact for this world, Deku was featured for this year's Teen People's magazine, Sexiest Man. Tony was happy about that one, partially for her ego and mostly because these are her words, not mine. Damn right you are. But back to the point on this cute little scene. Tony was feeding Deku takoyaki they had gotten from some stall off the street, and while he was doing the same for her with some yakitori, they were clearly smiling and enjoying their food with a side of some ramen. This little date would be featured on the local news with a headline of World's Mightiest Power Couple Enjoy Picnic atop Tokyo Tower. Izuku enjoyed the pun that Tony was an Avenger and that he was one of the primary bankrollers and supporting staff as far as the public was aware. To be clear, for the scene, Deku is his usual self and wearing what appears to be some sort of tethering device I'll inform you is real, but not activated. Since, come on, he's freaking Spider-Man. It also helps that there's a shield base directly underneath it that they both know about. Izuku would later make a point to have dinner with his parents and Tony, something they haven't really done as a couple yet. While Izuku could execute his plan on his own, Oscorp was still his aunt's company, and he still felt like he should run this idea by her. Well, Auntie, Izuku waited with bated breath. Rio was sipping her tea with a business-like look on her face. The pregnant pause made the tension even more palpable. Of course, it was all ruined when she gave a smirk. Go for it, son. This sounds like a good way for Oscorp to get a hold of future talent. Now, let's talk about the budget. I'll spare you the numbers. The students will be given a basic yearly budget that will increase or decrease depending on their quarterly review. Rio was very intrigued by Izuku's idea, and if it sounds like a little like Classroom of the Elite, maybe just a little bit, but come on, he's a business executive. Of course he's going to try to give these students a taste of the world they've chosen to step into. May being an Oscorp apprentice already means she's not going to have any trouble, really. Rio actually helped him come up with a good introduction to the students, since he won't be teaching per se, but the department chief. On his way to UA, there was a bit of an incident, unfortunately. The roads were really backed up in an absolute mess. A loud thud could be heard. A massive quake could be felt. That's no earthquake, boss. Scans indicate that there's an armored individual heading this way. Izuku took the moment to press a button on his AI-driven car, or he guesses witchy AI, to make his tint a little darker while he reached for a suitcase. Friday, take the wheel. Layla and I have some crime fighting to do. Deku grips the suitcase and injects a little venom, and his suit is formed as he presses yet another button to jump out of the sunroof while cloaked, getting a good distance away before he starts swinging to a building that was high up enough to give him a decent view. Boss, is that what I think it is? Spider-Man wasted no time and utilized his accelerated vision. Well, that's not just some cosplay, Layla. Get me Jarvis. Now. She does exactly that. I assume you wish to speak with Miss Stark, sir. Whitey confirmed exactly that. Hey there. What in the world is that? Tony asked in outrage, recognizing her repurposed Hulkbuster armor. Whitey, I have no idea how this guy got a hold of Hulkbuster level tech. I make a point of cleaning up all my scrap tech. Natasha steps in. You'd be surprised how many people can manage to get their hands on things. Looks too good to be made by an amateur. The armor looks military grade if I had to say. Jarvis, zoom in on the left of his leg. He just to reveal an Oscorp symbol. Before anyone says anything, Oscorp had nothing to do with building that thing. How do you even get the designs for that thing? That should have been in the vault like a while ago. Layla stepped in. Boss, think about who was possibly in charge of RH1 and 0. That's when it hit him, like a bag of bricks. MODOK is screwing me over from the side of the biggest prison in the world. Lovely. Layla, assume that this version has none of my safety overrides. And I'm going to have a talk with Tony after this, aren't I? Tony gave a mm-hmm and Spidey glided after the rampaging rhino. Spider-Man manages to land on the rhino's massive back and rips off some plating. He's noticed by Rhino, and he starts to ram into buildings to get Spidey off.
Get off of me! I will show that Midoriya bastard what it feels like to feel pain, to lose everything. He thinks sending his crony will stop me. I don't think so.
Spider-Man takes a shock as he rips out some servos.
Think I don't know about these things' weaknesses? I put off several protection. I spent a pretty penny to get these schematics, and it was worth it.
Layla matched the voice without being told. Alexei Sisevich. No wonder why he hates you so much, boss. So I'll make this one clear. Alexei had a company that made weapons for heroes, like high-tier stuff. Only problem was, they were double-dealing, and Alexei knew it. He was part of it. Ultimately, Izuku found proof of this with his father's help, and had them shut down, and put in prison for a very long time. Alexei was never found, and made out with a small fortune. I guess we all know what it was spent on, don't we? As far as the Rhino knew, Izuku was on his way to UA. It wasn't exactly known what at this point that All Might was a teacher there just yet, but he's still not stupid enough to go to an area filled with some of the best heroes in the nation. Rhino was making his way to Izuku's car, and Spidey couldn't have that. Too many innocents could get hurt. He managed to get back on, much to the Rhino's chagrin, and webbed him up and corralled him to an empty construction site. Spidey was bobbing and weaving in his usual fashion, trying to get up to a point where he could sink either his claws or teeth into some skin. Eventually, Spider-Man dropped him, destroyed the suit beyond repair, and webbed him in a cocoon. Then swung off to get picked up by the car near an empty alley as Deku. By some miracle, he made it to school for the opening ceremony and was called to the podium.
Greetings, students of UA. My name is Izuku Midoriya, and I wasn't about to let some dude in a rhino suit stop me from my first day here. Thank you for taking care of that, Spider-Man, by the way. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering what in the world I'm doing here. Well, I'm definitely not a student. As of today, I joined the faculty as the head of the support department. I hope to help shape the bright minds of the future inventors and keep the flame of creation kindled. You're all here because you have what it takes to make a difference in the world. I don't give a damn if you're in the hero, support, management, or general education departments of our school. You are here because you have what it takes. I was once told that I would never amount to anything by someone who shan't be named since they are no longer with us. It hurt at first, but instead of wallowing in that pain, I chose to go beyond it. I was a snot-nosed brat when I was told that, but look at me now, one of the smartest and richest people in the world. Don't let someone say you are a failure. So long as you are trying to make a difference, you're never a failure. You are a failure the moment you stop trying to succeed. Go beyond. Plus Ultra!
If you like that, United States has smashed that like button. Let's go full calling on the notification icon. Ring that bell, baby. And of course, don't forget, go plus ultra on the subscribe if you're not. Now rest easy, Deadites. And remember,
The night is ours.